qahat. And at that time, 1,000 camel fully loaded with every type of stuff. That was a caravan of Osman which arrived in Medina. Now, as you know that some people, they are looking for such like occasion. People are in need to make more and more profit. So the business people, they rushed to Osman radiallahu ta'ala an. So they asked him, if you can show that what here. So he showed them every type of things which were there in that caravan. And then he asked them that how much profit you will give me. Sayyidina Usman said. So they said, for every 10 dinar we will give you 2 dinar. So Usman radiallahu ta'ala anhu said, that is little. So they said, we will give you 40% profit. Usman radiallahu ta'ala anhu said, that is little. So they said, we will go for 50%. So he said, this is also little. Then Sayyidina Usman radiallahu ta'ala anhu said, can you give me for every dirham 10 dirham? So they said, who can do this type of business? So Usman radiallahu ta'ala anhu said, my Lord already has told me that man ja'a bil hasana falahu ashru amsalha, whosoever will do one good deed, I will give him 10 times more reward. So then he made an announcement, told his servants that make the announcement, people are in need, so they should come and you should distribute it to them for the sake of Allah. So 1,000 camel fully loaded, he distributed to the people of Medina and surrounding area. In the killing of Umar, there were 3 people. One was the actual killer. His name is Abu Lulu Firoz. He was from Magians, Majus. So he had committed suicide right away. But 2 guys who were his aides, their name was Hasna and Hormuzan. Now once Abdullah ibn Umar radiallahu anhu saw them, so as you know that they killed my father, so he jumped at them and killed them both. And that was the time of Usman, of course, because Umar radiallahu anhu already passed away. So now the case came to Usman radiallahu ta'ala anhu. So Sayyidina Usman radiallahu ta'ala anhu said, what should be done? So some people said that as he killed, so there should be a qisas. So Sayyidina Usman said, should not be. There should be a blood money, and I will pay that from my own pocket. Because there is a doubt. They were the killer of his father. And that's why when he faced them, he couldn't control himself. Got it? So as qisas is already there, even though it is not decreed by the court, but still the basic concept is there. So because of doubt, I cannot go for qisas. He said, but they got killed, so that's why I will pay them from my own pocket. The next chapter is ittiba' sunnat, how he was keen to follow the sunnah of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and even to practice accordingly as the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam used to do. He was Khalifa, and sometime when lot of people were there, so he was asking someone that bring me a bucket of water. So they used to bring him a bucket of water. Then he was sitting on elevated place and he was telling people, look at me. So when Khalifa of 6.6 million square miles, he will order, so who is there that he will not be looking at him? But what he was saying, that urikum wudu'a Rasulillah sallallahu alayhi wasallam I'm going to show you how the Prophet ﷺ was making wudu. So he was, and look, people were looking at him, that how the Prophet was making his wudu. And then the same elevated place, he was standing there facing Qibla. Urikum salat Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam. Look at me to show you how the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wasallam was praying. Once he came to know that some people said that whosoever ate a cooked thing, a what? Or a roasted thing, anything which is done by fire or with fire, so he has to renew his wudu. Al-wudu mimma massathum nar. That's a chapter in all books of hadith. Yes, Mawli Ahmad? Baw maja fil wudu mimma massathum nar. Yes. So once, lot of people were there. So he sat in the main gate of Masjid Nabawi, and he ordered his servant that, have you roasted that backbone of that goat? He said, yes. He said, where is that? He said, I can bring it. He said, bring it. So he started eating it in front of people. This is very delicious. This is very tasty. And then he entered the masjid and said, Allahu Akbar. So that was his way of teaching. So by this, he put in their mind that there is no wudu from mimma massatun nar. Got it or not it? And he said once very proudly that since I have given my hand to Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, my right hand I have given to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, then in my lifetime I have never touched purposely my private parts of body with this hand in respect to Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. That this hand of mine at the time of bay'ah was touched by Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And he said, number two, by God, since I have given him my pledge, I never cheated him. And he said, then I gave my pledge to Abu Bakr as Khalifa and to Umar as Khalifa. Allah is my witness. Allah is my witness. In front of them, put it on a side when they were not there. I have never said from my tongue anything against them, nor I have cheated or doing khiyanat in anything. Hafiz ibn Kasir says that he was very much committed to Salat al-Tahajjud. But as that is nafal prayer, and for nafal prayer, you should not harm somebody else. So at home even, he was waking up for Salat al-Tahajjud, he was not letting the light. That if somebody is not waking up on his own, I should not disturb his sleep and his rest. Sayyidah Aisha radiyallahu ta'ala anha says that Abu Bakr and Usman and Umar, even in the time of Jahiliyyah, before Islam, they never touched alcoholic drinks. So that's the perfection of their aql. This is because of what? Their aql was a perfect aql. And the Islamic Khilafat, it was expanded up to China, to Russia, and to a big portion of Europe and Africa almost the whole Africa, but a big part of Europe as well. But so many times, people used to come for Salat al-Zuhr to Masjid Nabawi. So on pebbles inside the masjid, Sayyidina Usman radiyallahu ta'ala anhu, because hot weather, so he did not have his shirt and he was sleeping on dirt at daytime for some aram and rest. Sayyid Ali radiyallahu ta'ala anhu says that to tell you people the truth, the one who was taking much more care of his relatives for the good pleasure of Allah amongst us, that was Usman radiyallahu ta'ala anhu. As we mentioned before, for 40 days he was besieged. That much big estate that was in his control, hundreds of thousands of army that was in his control. But he was that much stable and patient people. He said, whosoever will bring out his sword to defend me, he is not my companion. I don't want the blood of Muslim to be shed. He used to write or to do writing for Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. The same thing or same duty he was doing for Abu Bakr and Umar. And he was that much secret keeper that when Abu Bakr in loneliness, he was writing the document of istikhlaf in the name of Umar. In the name of Umar. So he asked Usman, come on. And he came. He was sitting with him. He dictated to him and he wrote that letter. Got it? And it is said that for sure Usman was knowing that Abu Bakr is going for Umar radiyallahu ta'ala an. So he was sick, Sayyidina Abu Bakr radiyallahu ta'ala anhu. So وبعد فهذا ما يراه عبد الله أبو بكر بن أبي قحافة في صلاح الأمة أني أولي أمر المسلمين إلى, that I am going to give this responsibility to. So when he said to, so at that time he fainted. Abu Bakr radiyallahu anhu, he fainted. Sayyidina Usman radiyallahu anhu, when he woke up from his fainting, so he said, so what you wrote? He said that you said that Anni uwalli ilah. You have told me up till date. He said, and what else? He said, I put a name there. He said, what is that? Umar ibn al-Khattab. He said, Alhamdulillah. That was in my mind. It means that you read my mind. You read my mind. So anyhow, so furthermore, inshallah, that what are the al-khadamat al-ilmiyya li Uthman ibn Affan regarding knowledge of deen, what Uthman ibn Affan radiyallahu ta'ala had done. Wa sallallahu ta'ala ala khair khalqi Muhammadin wa alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in.